Hi, viewer. I am with CJ once again. We need to time. We need to time these things better. And in the style of Rambling of Scully, I'm going to do one with CJ. Now, what were we going to talk about? We were going to talk about the number 7, right?
Number 7. The number 7 is the best number.
Yes, it is. Why is that?
Well, I'm not entirely sure, but it's exactly what Voldemort chose for making Horcruxes. It's got to have some kind of significance. Also 7, 8, 9, so it's got to have some amount of badassery going on.
Nice. Well, that's how many days there are on the week, so I guess that's something.
Well, yeah. So we model our calendar after the number 7. Voldemort 1 and 7 Horcruxes, or 7 pieces of his whole soul, or whatever. 7, 8, 9, you know. It's like a magical number or something. I can't remember exactly how that one went. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
7.
Do we have anything to discuss? Is
also,
that
the 7th Star Wars movie came out last month, you know?
I didn't care for that movie. I did not care for that movie that much.
Yeah.
It was basically just A New Hope. Oh, also, cat.
Yes, cat.
Yes, this will save our video just in case we screw up a lot. Just show the cat and we're good.
Yeah,
but
it's funny that you say it's basically just A New Hope. I actually watched not a reactions video, kind of like a retrospective after. It was a group that I kind of followed on YouTube for a bit. They posted like a discussion sort of thing, like a retroactive discussion after they'd all watched the movie. When it turned around to one of them, he just went, "I liked A New Hope," and that was his summary of the movie.
Yeah.
So he had the same kind of thought that, oh, it's A New Hope again.
Yeah. I didn't really particularly care that much for the characters. Like, I thought the lightsaber fights were absolute garbage. I mean, a lot of people complain about the prequel lightsaber fights, but at the very least, they were visually interesting. But like the one for Force Awakens is just shot in close-up, shaky cam. And I was talking to a few people, and they say, well, it's more like the older ones, where it's more about the emotions of the characters. I'm just thinking, well, that'd be nice if I actually gave a crap about the characters. The one chick is basically just a Mary Sue who somehow, out of nowhere, masters the Force, despite having no training whatsoever.
Well, see, there's actually a bunch of weird theories that are flying around about the movie. 90% of which I'm going to say are just so batshit insane that I can't even think that they're remotely possible. One of the ones about Rey, that was her name, was that she's actually a reincarnation of the One. The one that brings balance to the Force. Kind of like in the vein of the Matrix, how Neo was the new version of the one that resets the Matrix and all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Is that Rey was a reincarnation of Anakin's bring balance to the Force thing, kind of as a balancing factor, where it was literally, he does all this bad shit as Darth Vader, and now he's coming back as like for a second chance to right all the wrongs that he did as Vader, just with a new chance or some shit like that. I don't remember the exact theory because it's been like a week since I read it. It seemed off the wall enough that it's both possible and completely improbable, but I don't know. It was well thought out, at least when I read it. I'm completely butchering it as I paraphrase and summarize it here, but I'm going to say it. If that's the direction they go with the show, or with the movies, rather, I don't think it would work very well, but it might be kind of neat, and it would definitely explain her, oh, hey, suddenly I'm a Force guru.
Even then, that's kind of cheap. I find that just kind of really cheap.
Yeah,
because even Anakin needed at least some form of training before he actually knew what he was doing. And some people have theorized that she's Luke's kid, and even Luke didn't figure out that the Force could be used for manipulation until Ben busted out the jazz hands. And he's Darth Vader's kid, so it just comes across as just a complete asshole.
See, there's a bunch of things about the identities of, like, Rey in particular. I mean, we know who Kylo Ren is if you've seen the movie. But the argument that I keep seeing on Facebook in particular is the Star Wars movies are about the Skywalker family, so just because of that, pretty much, by default, Rey is probably, if not outright, Luke's kid. I did actually kind of like the theory that Rey was actually a Kenobi, but given how dedicated or whatever Obi-Wan was to the rules and under the order and how you can't have kids and all that, you can't have kids, you can't have a lover or whatever it was, all that stuff, I find it really unlikely.
But let's... What? What'd you say?
I said it would be kind of neat, but
Yeah. And as for the other characters, Finn was a decent idea, but then, I don't know, he just kind of lost me after a while.
Yeah.
Like, towards the start, I thought, okay, this character could be pretty interesting, but after that, I was just like, could care less about him.
I think his initial portrayal as a stormtrooper was kind of neat. Like, it was interesting that you get a turncoat from the other side becoming one of the main characters. You kind of had that with Han Solo, sort of, how it was, some guy who is not deliberately a good guy, working with the good guys and then eventually becoming a good guy. But it was more of an extreme case with Finn, ex-stormtrooper and all. I actually thought it was weird with the trailers how they kind of pulled a bait and switch with it.
They did.
He looked like he was going to be the new Force sensitive Jedi that was the new. He was going to be the new Luke, pretty much. But then, oh hey, look, it's Rey.
Who?
And honestly, I in that same discussions video, fuck off, cat. Different cat this time.
Yeah, not this one that's sleeping.
That one looks fairly pleasant. This one, however, is a giant fat pain in the ass who's about to sit in front of my monitor so I can't see shit. Little asshole. Anyway, the discussions video I was mentioning, that I mentioned before, rather, one of the guys in it made a point that he'd like to see a movie about multiple Jedi, like 2 Jedi. I think he kind of forgot that was sort of what happened for, the first 3, at least the prequel-wise. I mean, you had Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan, then Obi-Wan and Anakin, then Obi-Wan and Anakin again. But I think he was meaning more specifically catering to the setting of, the Grand Jedi Order is not a thing, so, get a couple of Force users going up against, the big bad, not Darth Vader. Which, I don't know, I think I'd like to see Finn be a Force user to some extent, or at least just be, really damn good with a lightsaber, which he kind of was. I mean, untrained, sure, but, he did pretty decent with that thing.
Yeah, he did. As for the villain...
Kylo Ren?
Yep.
Or Phasma?
I find it funny how J.J. Abrams decides to, abandon the expanded universe but regardless, he steals his antagonist from it.
Oh, no. Yeah, you gotta think about that, actually. It's actually kind of a genius move on his end to abandon the expanded universe. Because if he did... if he did keep the expanded universe intact, what would he have to do? He would have to do, or at least get a team of writers to do tons of research on the expanded universe and craft a story around that that doesn't step on the toes of the expanded universe, or make a movie out of expanded universe stuff. And he wanted to do his own thing. So tossing the expanded universe out the window lets him borrow from the expanded universe, or steal from it, as you said, while not having to adhere to it. So it's like if you were writing. No, that's not an example. It's like if you were making a game of, this and that, but you did an alternate universe where similar things happened, but not everything was the same. So, like an alternate universe where, say, Qui-Gon doesn't die to Darth Maul, or something like that, and or Grievous doesn't die where he does, and he's a lot more of a badass and a recurring villain, or something like that.
I find it funny how in the prequels the two best villains, Darth Maul and Grievous, are just killed off. Don't get to do much.
Grievous was not exactly the best villain in the prequels.
I thought Maul was pretty good. I thought Darth Maul should have stuck around.
Darth Maul would have been a great recurring villain for a character arc, especially with Kenobi, through the prequels, if they had kept him. But speaking of Kylo Ren, though, I liked when he caught the laser bolt. That was
awesome.
That was something. His hissy fits, however.
I get that they're trying to make him not like Darth Vader, but, for as many people complain about Hayden Christensen being a whiner, all he needs is a worse haircut, and he would be Hayden Christensen's doppelganger. He even has a pedo stare. Like when he's interrogating Rey, he has that pedo stare when he takes off the mask.
I keep seeing comparisons, discussions, articles, whatever the hell they are, and I don't ever click on them because I'm not interested, to be honest, that say that Kylo Ren is Anakin done right, which I'm not sure I follow, to be honest. Like, I understand that he's like conflicted about going to the dark side, but at the same time really wants to, which wasn't what Anakin did, but whatever.
Yeah.
He shows a lot of emotion, which I think is intentional, like his hissy fits and whatnot, or like, I think he's forcing the rage and whatnot, which is something of a Sith principle, so it kind of makes sense. When he, whatever the hell that ice planet was, when he took the shot to the side where he's beating his wound to get the adrenaline going, I thought that was actually fairly clever.
Yeah.
Sensible, based on the context. His lightsaber is bizarre.
It has such terrible construction to it. It's just there to look cool, and even then it just becomes
impressive. The thing about it, though, in terms of lore, it is actually basically constructed badly. He legitimately has a cracked or something like that lightsaber crystal in it, and the two little vents off to the side that make it totally not a cross are literally that vents. Otherwise, it would overload the lightsaber hilt and explode.
When did it say that in the movie?
It didn't.
But now for the other villain. Whatever that...
Snoke.
What?
Snoke? Or Phasma?
I don't know, that thing that sat in the lazy boy chair.
Snoke?
I don't know what his name was, I never heard it.
The hologram?
Yeah.
Okay, that was Snoke.
I never heard his name while watching it, but, I already was pretty sure that replacing Palpatine was going to be ridiculous, because even then, throughout the prequels, he was the one thing that everyone loved, and for obvious reasons, he nailed the part. That, and he was a good actor. Like, no one's going to offer their armchair acting advice to a 40-year veteran of the Shakespearean stage, right?
I don't know what to say about Snoke, to be honest. He's there. That's all I can say.
I could not. Anytime he was on screen, I could not. My ability to give a crap went just boom.
Okay, I think my thing about it is he fulfills the role of the Emperor without being the Emperor, and it's not necessary, and I don't think it's warranted either. Like, the official novelization of the book goes on to say that it goes on to explain rather that he's some not Sith but Dark Force user that like got interested in the Skywalker line because Anakin Skywalker was Darth Vader or is Darth Vader or whatever. He's like, oh, they got like such a latent Force potential. Like, oh, what could he do with the dark side? I need to get one as an apprentice or something.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like he tempts Kylo Ren over to the dark side or whatever, and that's why he's not a Sith. He's not like Sith Lord Ren. He's not Sith Lord Kylo or whatever. I mean, Ren comes from the Knights of Ren that he's like a leader of or some shit. I don't remember how that one went. It's just they kind of just pull that out of their ass, in my opinion. It's just, oh, look, a new, totally not the Emperor. It's and it has to be explained. I'm sure they're going to elaborate more of it in the other movies.
And I think this is one thing that annoys me with stuff like that. Like, also at the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it's like, oh, well, it'll be explained in the other movie.
Well, I'll get into that in a second.
Don't worry, the other movie will explain it. It's confusing now, but don't worry, wait for the next movie. It'll explain it.
This is going to be a trilogy. So, the first movie is setting up a bunch of stuff. The second movie is going to elaborate on stuff and do its thing. And then the third movie is going to wrap everything up.
Mm-hmm.
What I don't like particularly about Snoke is, like I said, they kind of just pull him out of nowhere. It's just suddenly a new Dark Force user that is like the Emperor, but totally not the Emperor. I personally would have liked if they had something new. Like, if he hadn't been a Force user, I think it would have been more interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Because when it's a Force user, it's totally just not the Emperor. That's all he is. He's just functioning as the Emperor, but not.
Mm-hmm.
If he wasn't a Force user, like say he was Senator what's his bucket, Palpatine's Chancellor Palpatine. So if he was Palpatine specifically, not the Emperor, but Palpatine, just the government politician type dude who wanted to manipulate a Force user into helping him do this and that to whatever the fuck with the First Order. If he had just been like a really skilled manipulator that was not remotely Force inclined, I think he would have been a way more interesting villain, just in general. Really.
Kind of like Grand Moff Tarkin from New Hope.
Remind me who the hell he was.
He was the guy played by... Oh, what was his name?
I probably won't recognize the actor, to be honest. Which... Was he the one who was telling Vader what he could and couldn't do?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Kind of like... it would have been another... it would have been another recycling thing from New Hope in that case, but at the same time, it would have been an effective one. Because it wasn't the Emperor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm just pedantically bitching at this point, but I think they could have done much better things with Snoke than what they did, because unless they do some grand stuff in episodes 8 and 9 with him to really set him apart from the Emperor, he's just gonna be the Emperor, but not again, and that's not gonna do a whole hell of a lot of good for him.
Alright, and let's talk about the last thing. So those who don't want things spoiled, I guess we'll just... Because after this I'm going to probably stop the video. But, Han Solo.
Chewie's flying solo now.
You know, am I the only one who predicted he was gonna die?
Okay. Coming at it from like an external viewpoint, I'm gonna guess. I guess that's the best way of saying it. Harrison Ford made it very obvious that he didn't want to keep being Han Solo. Like, I think he actually didn't even want to be Han Solo again for the 6th movie back when.
Yeah, he wanted him killed off in Empire.
Yeah, but that never came to fruition. So I think they probably got in touch with him over the whole role thing, and that was probably like a contractual requirement to have him in the movie is that he will die in this movie. Like kind of along the lines of how Samuel L. Jackson, when they asked him to be in the Star Wars movies, he requested a purple lightsaber as part of the agreement. So just knowing that Harrison Ford does not like being Han Solo really kind of it spoiled it without actually spoiling it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then watching the movie, you know, you get the suddenly, oh hey, there's a whole bunch of screen time between him and Leia, and oh, the camera's on Han Solo. Where's the main characters that we're normally following? Oh, they're giving him attention before he dies. That's it.
Yeah, and then he dies, and it came across as gimmicky and rather than authentic. The little dialogue between him and Kylo Ren just came across as just dumb.
I'm told that scene, however, is really, really beautiful. Like just from watching it, like ignoring how shitty the death is, as so to speak. The direction of the scene with the sun going out, because of the whole whatever the not Death Star thing, that was feeding off of the sun. Like the sun going out in the background, and the light going out, and it's all metaphorical, and oh, it means shit, but I don't see it.
I barely noticed. All I remembered was, like, I thought he was going to kill himself along with Han. Like, he had, like, the two crappy ends of it and looked like he was pointing to both him and Han, so I thought he was going to kill himself and Han. And then he just kills Han.
I will say, there's a lot of really good fan art, actually, of that scene.
I need to check that out. After this video, why don't you show me some of it?
I'll see if I can't find the one that I'm thinking of. I'm going to say it does good for the fans who really care. I know Harrison Ford didn't want to be Han Solo anymore, but at the same time, I think they probably could have just written him out from the beginning, like he retired, or maybe just have him in for minor scenes where he's saying, no, I'm not going to help, or some shit. I don't know. They didn't need to give him a big role just to kill him off. They could have had him leave quietly and they
basically let him die, let him, even kill him off with dignity.
They kind of did. I will say that much. They kind of killed him with dignity, kind of, because he did have that moment there with Kylo, where he was like trying kind of to get him to come back to the light side or whatever. Kind of. But it didn't really work, as for obvious reasons.
Yeah, and then the film ends, and then it just like ends with Luke and Rey, and then it does that stupid camera shot where it's spinning around and panning back, and I hated those shots. They were really distracting.
It ends weirdly. Like, A New Hope ended with a celebration. They're giving medals and stuff. Even Phantom Menace ended with that kind of celebration. It ended on a happy note. Both of them did. This one did not. This one kind of just ended.
Yeah. when I first saw that, I was like, oh, Luke, okay, great. He's like my favorite character in the Star Wars series. Now what's going to happen then? Boom, he's gone. It's over. Directed by Jar Jar Abrams.
I don't really have a whole hell of a lot else to say about the movie, to be honest.
Some things confused me, like why do they have the blue lightsaber? Shouldn't it have been the green one?
It was that's Anakin's lightsaber, for the record. That's the one that Ben Kenobi gave Luke, not the one that Luke built. I don't understand how exactly they got it. I mean, wasn't
it fell down a shaft, and I'm still trying to find someone to find adequate justification. The most I heard was they found it from the shaft after it fell. I'm just like, that's a stretch.
Wasn't that like Cloud City or something like that, though? That whole planet was a gas giant or something like that. Was it just floating at the center of gravity for the planet, and somebody was just going by like, oh, hey, check that out.
It's a lightsaber. Let's give it to this one person who somehow knows how. Like, I'm just more confused. Overall, I thought the movie was very good. Like the one guy said, I like New Hope, and it had some cool moments. Like with, I think its beginning was pretty interesting, and yeah. Though it does have a lot of problems, most of which I kind of expected from Star Wars. Like a lot of the awkward dialogue, like the "I never knew there was this much green in the galaxy." I mean, it's up there. It's up there with the "I hate sand" line. It's not. It's "I hate sand" was funny because it was so stupid, but I never knew there was this much green in the galaxy was just stupid.
You know, I'm just gonna leave with final thoughts. It makes me hopeful for the other two movies, and maybe it'll be a good movie contextually with the other two, and maybe it'll be good as the next trilogy. Otherwise, I don't have a whole lot else to say. However, I do have a fairly decent joke about Star Wars: The Force Awakens.
Well, by all means, let's end this video on that joke.
Okay. Oh God. Hang on. Remind me real quick. For some reason, his name is escaping me. Luke's actor.
Mark Hamill.
Mark Hamill. I keep wanting to say Jared Leto because of his role as the Joker, since Mark Hamill does the Joker's voice and stuff too.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. So when Mark Hamill went to the the script reading for The Force Awakens, after it was over, he went up to J.J. Abrams and said, "May I have a word?" Because Luke don't say shit in that movie.
He just kind of stares. While we have spinning shot that moves backwards. Did you ever notice how many times he used that shot was used? That type of shot was used. We were like, go back and spin around.
I don't think I actually really paid attention enough to the cinematography to notice.
That irritated me while watching it. But for me, Force Awakens was great.
For me, Force Awakens was good. It leaves me hopeful for the series. Otherwise, eh.
The only problem I have with Force Awakens is I do have problems with it, but I can never really say that I have problems, and then everyone will just start throwing a fit.
Yeah. You can't complain about it. The fans tear you to pieces.
Yeah, or else like, so you want prequels back, or things like that.
No, I never said that.
Oh well, guess that'll be it then. See ya.
Bye.